All right, this is a new topic, FM1, earning and managing money. We're looking at our first exercise, exercise 401, wages, salaries and overtime. A wage is calculated, so a wage is calculated on the actual hours worked. A wage is calculated on the number of hours worked. With overtime paid at a higher rate for extra hours worked above normal hours. Okay, so a wage is calculated on the number of hours worked with overtime paid at a higher rate for extra hours worked above normal hours. It might be a sales assistant, but it is often not professional people unless you're working for some government organisations do pay overtime, all right? So something like a sales assistant, if you're so an example might be a sales assistant, waiter, anyone that works where they're paid by the hour, all right? Mechanics, for example, all right? All right, we'll just do an example. Example from question 10. A personal assistant earns $18.30 an hour. For a 35-hour week. Then, time and a half for the first 4 hours of overtime and double time after that. So she works 8:30 to 5:30 p.m., 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. from Tuesday to Saturday. Okay, we're going to have to, they haven't mentioned that she has a lunch break. So unless they mention she has a lunch break, you don't take out the hours for lunch. But often in the real world, they don't pay you for your lunch break, okay? So just be careful. If they say she has an hour lunch, you need to take that off the hours every day. All right, so 8:30 to 5:30 is, so in one day, she works 9 hours. For the 5 days, that equals 9 times 5, which is 45 hours. So let's break that 45 hours up. So therefore, how many hours are normal? So normal, so basically, I'm just going to go this 45 equals 35 normal plus how many at time and a half? The first 4 hours. So then time and a half for the first 4 hours of overtime. So 4 hours at, you know, the at symbol, times at time and a half. You okay with this? Plus, what are we up to so far? 35 and 4 is 39. How many more hours? Plus 6 hours at double. All right. We all good? You can do this all in one step if you want, okay? So, therefore the total paid, but you need to put brackets around each section so that we know what you're doing. So, you break it up. So we've got 35 hours of normal times what? What's the hourly rate? Times $18.30. That's your normal. I'm going to write normal under here. Plus, how many hours at time and a half? 4 times 1.5. Now, what's 4 times 1.5, girls? Just, you can do it on your calc. What's 4 times 1?
6.
Yeah, it's 6 hours. So when you work 4 hours at time and a half, you're getting 6 hours pay. So we go 4 times 1.5 that ends up being 6. You don't have to work that out, times 1830. That is your at times 1.5, right? Plus, now if you're doing 6 hours double time, 6 times 2 is 12. You're actually getting 12 hours of pay, all right? Plus 6 times 2 times $18.30. So that's your double. I'm just going to go double. That's your double time. This is your time and a half. So your total pay, you do your normal hours, plus, I'd be putting them in brackets, plus your time and a half hours, plus your double time hours. Are we okay with this? See, your 6 hours at double is really 12 hours pay. So if you're ever told you're going to be doing 4 hours at double time, you get 8 hours pay. 4 times 2 is 8. All right, if you're getting time and a half, it's your hours times 1.5. So it's your hours and another half of those hours. Okay, so now if you want, you can work out each one separately, write the totals, or you can work it all out in one go. Therefore, the pay is $969.90 for that week, for the 45 hours. She worked 45 hours. A salary is a fixed amount of annual pay. Now, that annual pay, girls, is either paid weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. Okay, to convert a yearly salary to a weekly amount, divide by, convert yearly salary to weekly amount, divide by, I'm just leaving that blank. We know there's 365 days we're going to ignore the leap year, all right? Divided by 7. Can you please do that on your calculator and tell me what you get? 365 divided by 7 on your... All right, 52.14. Can you actually then do 365? You know how there's a leap year every 4 years? It is because it doesn't take 365 days for the Earth to go around the sun. It's actually 365 days and 6 hours. This is why 6 times 4 is 24. At the end of the 4th year, they add an extra day. So, financial institutions like banks, when they're working out your interest rates, can you now do the following on your calculator? 365.25 divided by 7, because 1 year actually has 365.25 days if we average out for that leap year. I need an answer. 52.178. Okay, ... which is approximately equal to 52.18. So in previous years, we've just always said 1 year is 52 weeks. We all know it's more than 52 weeks. And it actually is financial institutions will use that 52.178, but we're just going to use 2 decimal places, which is 52.18. Okay? So in some exams, they'll say use 1 week, 1 year is 52 weeks. In other exams, they might say use 1 year is 52.18 weeks. So therefore, 1 year is 52.18 weeks, or 1 year is 52 weeks. How do you know which one to use? You look at the exam. If the exam doesn't say anything, you will use this. 1 year is 52 weeks. But if the exam says 1 year, take 1 year as 52.18 weeks, you have to use that. So this is standard, but if they tell you otherwise, I've just explained to you why. All right? Now, as I said, financial institutions like banks, they're very precise with the interest they're going to pay out and the interest they're going to charge. And you will see when you do that later with interest that they're using 365.25 days in a year. In your textbook, you can see here that all the questions that you'll be doing, we're using 52.18 weeks in a year as opposed to 52. So, how many fortnights in a year? Well, actually, don't worry about that yet. Girls, how many weeks in a month? Is there a simple answer? Girls, you're often going to have to convert from monthly pay to weekly pay. There are not exactly 4 weeks in the year. That only happens once a year in February. So there aren't not exactly 4 weeks in a year, in a month. There's actually 4 and a bit. So, girls, excuse me. Because we know that there are 52, look, I'm not using 52.18 here. Approximately 52 weeks in a year, and there are 12 months. So I'm trying to see how many weeks go into each month. 52 weeks divided into 12 months is 52 over 12 is 4.3 recurring, which is 4 1/3 weeks per month. If you want to convert from a monthly pay to a weekly pay, you know very well that there isn't just 4 weeks in a month. A month is, using your knuckles, 30 days, 31 days, 28 days, whatever, 29 days in the leap year. It's never just 4 weeks, okay, except for once a year. So to convert from monthly pay to weekly pay, divide by 4 1/3, not 4, okay? I know that previously you've always done that there are 26 fortnights in a year. Girls, if there's 52.18 weeks in a year, there's going to be a bit more than 26 fortnights a week. All right, so if you want to work out fortnightly pay, what I'd probably do the weekly pay one first, and then you would double it. Isn't a fortnight 2 weeks? So let's do the weekly pay first. So weekly pay, isn't it 145,239 divided by 52.18? Do you get it? All right, do that one first. Keep your answer in the calculator. 2783.42. Can you give me that unrounded, please? What have you got that as unrounded? 2783.4 what? 0.4.
Okay, 2783.422767.
That. I'm just going to keep that there. So we can see if we round that, it's 2783.42. Why do you think I'm keeping this answer up here, this 2783.4227? Because what am I about to do with it? I'm about to double it. If you want fortnightly pay, you do 145,239 divided by 52.18. That's a week, and then you times it by 2. So either you just keep this answer here and just go times 2 now. Does that make sense? All right, what do you get? You should get 566. What do you get? You sure it was 4227, or was it, yeah? All right. Guys, what do you get if you do it all in one go with no rounding? The reason I did not write this weekly pay and then double it is, this is exactly what's coming out on the calculator. Can you now round this to 2 decimal places because it's money? What do you get? 5566.85. Now, let's say I took that weekly pay, which ends in a 42, and I double it. What would I get? 80 what? If you double 42, what do you get? 84. Do you see why I didn't take this, the rounded one, and then double it? So that's why I started again, and I went 145,239 divided by 52.18 times 2. I get that. It rounds up to 85. Notice the fortnightly pay is 1 cent different to the doubling of the weekly pay because there's extra digits here. If you look at 27 and 27, it goes to 52, which is why you've got this 5 business at the end. All right? Monthly pay is the easiest type to do. It's just your yearly divided by 12. All right? We've always got 12 months in a year. January through to December, no matter what. Okay? So it's your yearly pay divided by 12, just as you would normally do it. 145,239 over 12, and what do you get for that? 12,000 Anyone? Monthly pay is $12,103.25. If a person earns, let's say, $6,000 exactly a month, what is their weekly pay? Now we're going to do this two ways if you want. 4 1/3. So there is more than 4 weeks in a month. We do 6,000 divided by 4 1/3. Okay? And that's how we work out weekly pay from months. Now, I'm going to show you another way to do this. If you can't do 4 1/3 on your calculator, you just go 4.333 and put as many threes as you can. Not just one, not just two, just put them till the end. What do you get? Okay, no.
Wait, 1,308.62.
615, etc., which is 1384.62.